Do 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 Spiritual sex and candy, yeah.
Hey, spiritual sisters. Welcome to Sexuality. I'm Shamanic Sweetener, and we have my co-host, JP Atkins, our Freedom Jedi. Hi, everyone. So, tonight is episode 24, and it is Samhain Sorcery, embracing the power of the dark half. So, because Halloween's coming up, we're going to be talking about embracing your dark side. And Samhain originally. Hi, Jeff.
Hi guys, I'm trying to deal with the dogs going crazy,
Because we're
and
live and we
because
record
we're
this live. So if
it,
you're listening
it's
to this later.
as soon as it went go live, both dogs went crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Hi, it's so nice to see you.
Hi. It's so nice to see you. How are you today?
I am beautiful, beautiful. We got I talked to a realtor today. Things are moving, things are flowing. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is
Good.
beautiful.
Good, good,
I
good.
I tried something new for dinner,
How
and
did that turn
not bad.
out? Okay.
I There's a couple things I would do differently. I don't know if this is the first time I made lentils. It might be the first time I made lentils, and I would soak them first so that they were softer
Right.
before they went in there, and then I would like to see what the mint would do because I didn't
I need
get
to
mint.
try. My sister eats my sister's vegetarian, and so she eats lots of lentils and makes them all different ways and does all kinds of things with them. And I really should probably try because the only thing I ever remember about lentils is my mom would make this lentil soup when we were growing up, and not that I didn't like it, but it was like lentil vegetable soup, and so it was lentils and a bunch of veggies, and it was like I don't know, they were just kind of bland and I don't do. It was bland. And then if you ate it later, it was like pasty, anyway.
I've been
So
there.
I don't know. The thought of lentils is still. I'm kind of like.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
I, I
It's
I'm
Taco
here in
Tuesday.
Arabic.
We're doing taco salad when I'm done here.
Yeah, it's I'm in Arabic country, so lots of lentils, lots of, and
Yeah.
they have really good crushed lentil soup. Like the lentil soup is actually really really good. Um, yeah, lemon and
I would love. Like I said, I'm always down to try it. Try anything because if I don't like it, I don't have to eat it.
and
Yeah.
that's kind of how I was thinking about this one. It's like it was in the meal plan, and I was like, okay, let me try it, and I mean
Right,
it
because you
can't
asked me,
be.
you're like, how does this sound? And I'm like, meh,
Yeah, this one was a little weird. It was
meh. I don't know about
yeah,
that.
it ended up being kind of like a chili.
Okay.
So like
So
because it
you
had a lot
lost
of
me at
cumin
putting
and
it over pasta, but
the,
anyways.
the whole thing was like I'm trying here. I'm trying to do with the meal plan. I actually
I know.
planned it out. I actually grocery shopped according to the meal plan. I didn't even go into a grocery store so that I didn't buy stuff that wasn't on the meal plan. This time.
Right, we have um my friend that I am staying with, she is on a specific meal plan, which I don't mind because I don't mind cooking. I just don't want to have to decide what we eat every night. So like it'll say like tonight we put specifically taco salad because it's something easy that we can do after I'm done here, and stuff.
Hmm.
But other times it's like chicken and Brussels sprouts, and then I just decide how I want to cook it. and then I, of course, try to change it up all the time. So I cook most nights, and I don't mind because, like I said, it tells me what I'm cooking. I just decide how I want to cook it. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. This meal plan, I'm using 8Fit. It's an app. It also has a workout thing. It's supposed to go with the workouts that I'm not doing. I'm doing a different version. Um,
Right.
because I'm doing the yoga stuff right now until the end of the month. And then I'm switching back to 8Fit because I realized I didn't like this version of. I don't like how this app does their workouts, the yoga stuff.
Associated with 8Fit in any way. This is just the person that you uses.
Yes.
You have to say that because if you're going to say it on here, then we have to put the disclaimer in.
Disclaimer. It's a personal thing. We're not medics. Oh, let's do the rest of the disclaimer. We say fuck a lot, so if you don't like that, you should probably, find an exit.
Warning, we talk about all different kinds of fucking things. We say the word fuck a lot. We are for adults, 18 and older, unless you want your children to hear about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
So,
and we love you. So even if this is not your vibe, and we totally get that, we love you anyway, but please see yourself out because we don't want to hear all the negative bullshit.
yeah, I mean, it's
unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. We warned you right up top.
Right.
So.
I mean, it says it in the name.
Exactly.
It says it in the name.
and we put 18 and up on our stuff.
And we put 18 and up on our stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So
today we're talking about Samhain, which really we're not. We're talking about our dark side, but so many people think of Samhain and Halloween as this, like All Hallows Eve. So I want to give a little backstory to Samhain, which Samhain is a Gaelic festival that starts at sundown, and it is actually a festival around the end of now I'm losing the word, of course. I'm having
Harvest.
a really bad brain fog day. It's harvest. It's the very end of the harvest season. It's halfway between fall equinox and winter solstice, and it's to celebrate all the good things. And they leave offerings to the Fae, which is where the veil thinning comes in, is that they leave offerings to the fairies so that they will take care of them through their home. So that is the true meaning behind Samhain. Tonight, we're talking about embracing the power of our dark side, because so often, especially shadow work is a buzzword right now, and there's so many people on their healing journey, and so we want to talk a little bit about that and embracing that part of yourself through your healing journey.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that I've worked really hard on this year, and I know that it's so difficult for people to realize, is that your dark side is you.
Yeah.
It's all you. It's all you, baby.
Yes, it is.
It's.
I have an alter ego. Her name is Stephanie, by the way.
Yeah.
It's Steffi, to be precise.
Yeah. And what's she in charge of?
She's the one that likes to get in trouble.
Ah.
Really, it started with my phone number is associated with the last person who owned it. Now I've had the same number for like 3 or 4 years now. But the person before me that had this number, his name is Stephanie. And so anytime it comes up in someone, like I still get text messages for her and stuff from like the Union in Las Vegas, and I'm like, not her, like stop texting. They don't care. So I ordered an Uber, and my friend put my phone number in, and when the guy came to pick me up, he was like, "Are you Stephanie?" And I go, "No, but you're my Uber." And so it became this whole thing that Steffi is my alter ego. So when I am in a really bad mood and I want to knock heads, I message my friend and say, "Steffi left."
Well, we all know Alex.
Yeah.
Alex is my tech support guy. He's an alter ego for my tech support, and he's the one that you call in tech support. He's exactly who is there, and he's going to ask you, did you try turning off the computer and turning it on?
I don't like to talk to Alex. Alex always assumes I'm a fucking idiot.
Because typically, when you're talking to Alex, it's because
I know. I always have to preface conversations with, I've already fucking turned it off and on. I've
Yeah.
already done this. I've already done this. I'm calling you because...
because and today. So right before I get on this call, I have a client, and I still have one tech client. Famously, still have one tech client. I'm still thankful that I have a client that pays me, and I get to do the things I need to do. And I went out of tech so bad I could taste it. So we're in the new system. He's finally trying to learn the system because now he has no choice but to learn the system. Although we've been in the system for a year. We started last November because we were going to get out by February. So, just to give you an idea, we're finally actually in the system. Yes, and it was a lot, and there was a lot of things, and it was back and forth that we were going to do it, and then all this stuff, and part of me wishes we didn't do it because it would have actually been easier not to. But at the end of the day, he messages me and he's like, we got rid of all those people where, because we had all kinds of people that were do not contact in the other system, and when we pulled it over, they didn't mark do not contact, so we had to go and look at all what was going on and how that all worked, and then we had some do not contact in this system, and so now I went from 23,000 people to like 11,000, and he's like, oh my god, what happened? And I'm like, we had that many, yeah. At worst, there's still people missing, and I'm trying to figure out where it is, but I don't have time to think about it at this moment. Because that shouldn't, the numbers aren't... Right, we're here talking to you, and in my head, I'm still going, there's still people missing. I don't know where they are. Let me figure out where they are. About 1,200 people. Not a ton of people, but, 1,200 is a lot of people. But he asks me all these questions, and I'm trying to cook, and I can't see what he's doing, and then I'm like, and so Alex, I feel Alex coming, and I can feel Alex. Alex is like a possession. He comes up and he's that he hates his job, he hates everybody, that's there, and and doesn't have any compassion for people not understanding what's going on. And so I've been working very, 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 very hard lately to not be Alex when people ask me questions about this new software, because it is new software for everybody. Right. Although it's not new software.
I definitely get that way though too. I'm a Capricorn, and I'm neurospicy, and I hate to repeat myself. Now, if you honestly are just not grasping it, that's completely different for me. But I was an instructor for several years, and I taught medical assisting. So I taught people how to, draw blood and give injections and all the things that you do in doctor's offices. And oh gosh, I hate to repeat myself. I hate it. If you're not paying attention, then sink or swim, bitch. You know what I mean? And there's been a couple of times where I kind of got in trouble because I was like, look, listen to what I'm saying first, and then try to figure it out, and then talk to me. But don't,
Have you opened the program?
Have you opened the program? Right. Right. Put your phone down, and pay attention to what we're doing, and tell me ahead of time that you're struggling. Do not wait until I'm 5 steps ahead and then say, oh, remember, I don't know how to do any of this because you tuned out because you weren't paying attention.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
My core roommates in Vegas learned about that because they neither of them have any kind of memory, and I love them both, but I repeated myself on a daily basis, and it's a trigger. So okay, so that circles all the way back into like the dark half, right? The
hmm
parts of you that you're not so proud of, because this is really not about our alter egos, right? That's
no.
not really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the shadow work, the things about yourself that I hate to use the term because I love all the dark parts of me now, but the parts that most people who are going through the healing process, those are the parts that you're embarrassed to talk about. They're the things that you're
Yeah.
not proud of that you did to maybe survive, or things that you learned growing up, or parts of yourself that when you were growing up developed because of those situations. It could be parts of your family that you don't like, that you're almost embarrassed to talk about, that you don't want to tell people about. That is the dark half that we're talking about.
That kink that you don't want to mention.
The kink you don't want to mention because you're worried about what someone's going to judge you on.
hmm
And my favorite saying, and people argue with me about this, other people's opinions of you are none of your business. They aren't. And I
Fair.
actually put that in a comment in one of my neurospicy groups. They were like, give random advice. And I said, other people's opinions of you are none of your business. And the guy said, well, that's bullshit because you do care about what people think. I'm not saying that at one point in my life I didn't care, because I absolutely did.
Oh
But I
yeah.
am to the point now where I could give two fucks what you think about me. I don't care because you're not in my brain. You have not lived my life. You only know as much about me as I fucking live.
hmm
So fuck right off with your opinions of me because I don't really care.
And at the end of the
Good
day,
or bad, by the way. I mean, I love to hear praises. Do not get me wrong. Like everyone does in some way. If someone tells you, I don't need validation from other people, that's a crock of shit. But the other side of that is,
I may not need it, but it's very, very welcome.
yes, yes, yes.
It's very, very welcome.
Actually, compliments kind of make me happy. When people come to me and they're like, you have changed my life, you know, you make me smile every day, I look forward to your videos, anything like that, I'm like, okay.
I,
It
I've
actually kind of makes me uncomfortable.
I've said that I say that almost every day to you.
I know, it makes me uncomfortable.
Good, good, good. I want you to squirm, bitch.
But we all
I
have parts of ourselves. I
yeah.
openly talk about drinking and doing drugs and not always being the best mother, being angry because that's the only emotion that I knew. Um, I mean, there are parts of, there are things that I did that I should, I'm not proud that I did those things, but I was doing the best I could with what I was dealt too.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we have to remember for ourselves is that we did what we did, they did what they did.
Yeah,
Now what?
right.
I have um, one of the famous stories of my life is when my ex roommate threw me out because of her boyfriend, and it really wasn't about the boyfriend. It was the fact that I really needed to get out, and
Yeah,
it just had gone to a place, and things kept happening, and but we had a plan, and she came in one day and said, you know what, I want you, we can't follow that plan, and wanted me out like 5 days earlier, and it's like,
but it's 5 days. Like,
right,
that's the part I
like,
never understood. But
right,
anyway, sorry.
and there was a whole, right, there was a whole thing before that. There was a whole, like, that whole weekend, like,
Right.
I came home on Sunday, and from Sunday until Tuesday, when she said that, was like every time we interacted was something fucking crazy, um, crazy. And she did what she did, and I did what I did. I did leave, and I did what I needed to do, and I got out, and
Yeah.
my RV got here, and my RV was here on Monday. Like,
Right.
I would have been out. I would have been out there on Monday.
Right.
It was not a big. It wouldn't have been a big deal. It would have been a week. Um, But it's just like, and everyone's like, why would you talk to her after that? Because she had a bad moment.
So I had a similar situation, and I'm still friends with that person. She ate a lot of crow
Uh-huh.
to be friends again because it was someone I knew from when we were like teenagers. This was not
Yeah.
just someone, and we actually moved to Colorado together. So like both of us together went to Colorado with like $3,000 between the two of us to find an apartment and find jobs, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I had been telling her for several months, like, I'm going to move out. I'm making arrangements to move out. I don't want it to get, because it was getting to that point where you're just being blatantly disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just your apartment, it's our apartment. We're both on the lease. We both went into this, And I said, but it's going to ruin our friendship if I don't move out, and that's what I don't want. And she was in an abusive relationship, and that fed it. And I went out of town because a very dear friend who was like a brother to me passed away unexpectedly. And my daughter and I got in the car and drove to Kansas, took my dog. We left the little dog there. And I started getting these nasty messages. Are you going to pay all of this month's rent? I'm like, nope, I'm going to pay half of it. Because I already told you. Again, I was going to be out at a certain date. I had already told her what that date was. And I said, I'm only going to be there for 2 weeks. So no, I'm not paying the whole thing. I will pay a quarter of it, that sort of thing. And when I got home, she had taken everything in the entire apartment that was mine and put it in my bedroom. Took all of my bowls and glass mixing bowls and everything and just dropped them on the floor and shattered them everywhere. And then made threats to me, like, when you get home, you will be moved out with, like, blah, 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 blah. Of course, as soon as I got home, she left because she knew that she didn't want to confront me in real life, And yeah, and it was a bad moment for her, and we've had a couple of those over the years where she has, I'm always the asshole because I'm the one that tells her what's going to happen before it happens. And then I'm the asshole. And then
Fucking psychics.
I know. Yep. And then it comes back around, and then she says, she eats crow every time though, and she says, you were right, and yeah, I know. You would think after fucking 30 years, bitch, you would listen to me. I mean, I'm just saying. No, not at all.
No.
But yeah, you can't judge people on a moment in time.
And our friendship.
I'm not saying that you can excuse everyone's behavior. That's not what I'm saying.
No. But you have to take it at face value, and our friendship isn't the same now. Right. It's not like we're hanging out all the time. I don't hang out with her nearly, not even every time she wants to hang out. It's definitely much more strained. I was out by her house. I was like 5 miles from her house, and we didn't do lunch. Right. We were gonna do lunch, and she lives
fairly close
to like.
This friend, but I would never trust her in that sense. That makes sense. Like,
yeah, I would never live there. I would never do.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, we are friends, and like we have hung out, and it's not that we haven't. Yeah. She was at my birthday. She stopped in. It's not like.
Yeah.
But it's not a. It's a completely different relationship.
Yeah.
And it's actually probably healthier now. Because there was a lot of codependency for a minute. It got. I need to go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how my situation was in Vegas. I mean, nothing bad, but I just got to a point where like it was time for me to move on. It was time for me a year ago to move on.
Yeah.
And because of situations, I stayed there, and that's okay. Would I go back to that situation? No, I would not.
No. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But this is we want to talk about loving yourself unconditionally, right? In the healing process, when you are going through, shadow work for me is making room and accepting all the parts of yourself that you might not have liked in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to put it?
I can get behind that one. Yeah.
And instead of carrying it, which is what so many of us do in some way, shape, or form, you carry it with you. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, I physically have carried it with me. I physically carried it. Weight-wise, is making room for it so that it's a part of who you are instead of carrying it with you.
Yeah. When you're carrying it outside of you, it's heavy. If you hold your arms out like this, holding things, it's heavy. But if you bring it back and incorporate it, yeah, or over your shoulders.
On your shoulders.
Right.
How many times have you said, I have said it, I don't know how many times I've heard it. I've heard it from clients. I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Put that shit down. Put it down.
Eat it.
And let's unpack it.
Yeah.
Put it down and let's unpack it. Is it something you still need to be carrying? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
And when you accept that part of yourself, woo! It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. It's so freeing to say, I don't need to carry that anymore.
Yeah. I don't have to be afraid of it. I don't have to be ashamed of it. I don't have to be... It doesn't matter. I can even joke about it.
Yeah.
I took on a really heavy... I was at a workshop not too long ago, in September, where we had this exercise. We were taking out a memory that was one of those places, and it's probably one of my worst moments in my life. Like, super selfish, super not okay, not how I would want to react to people, and not how I would think I would react to people, and it was probably what I needed to do in that moment. So it's not, again, it wasn't the action wasn't wrong, the attitude probably was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And some of the things I did was downright nasty. I took the car that was technically his. It was in my name. I said, "Come at me." It was yeah. I had a job. He didn't at the moment.
You're just not proud of that you did. The way
you
reacted, you just weren't proud of. Whether it was, and it's never the wrong decision. So I think that's really important. Is it really is not, Of course, hindsight is 20/20, and if you could go back and do it again, would you do it differently, knowing what you know now? Maybe
parts
not,
of it. Yeah.
I always say, like, I wouldn't change anything about my life. I've had a fucked up life. Like, I have gone through more things in my 48 years than most people go through in their whole life.
Yeah.
And, and when I tell my story, it is still surreal to me in some ways. Like, even though I've dealt with a lot of those emotions, it is still very surreal for me a lot of times when I tell my story because of the reaction I've gotten from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because other people are horrified by my story. That I'm like, should I be more horrified?
Oh, but when you live through it, it just is. It's not.
Just is. Yeah, it just is. It's just a part of who I am, and it took me lots of, I've been doing this journey for several years now, and I finally feel like over the past year that I have gotten. Not that things don't still come up, obviously, because things always are going to come up. It's how we deal with it now is different, you know. So when those feelings come up, it's the difference of honoring how I feel in that moment and moving on from it. But I just felt like I've gotten that point in the past year or so where I'm like, no, I'm good with who the fuck I am. I love me some me. Because at the end of the day, the only person that you can love unconditionally is yourself.
Yeah, and it's such a challenge to do so.
Yeah.
And especially because it sounds so conceited, right? It sounds so self-centered. And one of the things that I
Because that's
learned,
coming from a place of ego.
uh-huh, and a lot of people will tell you, well, you're being boastful. Oh, you're self-centered because I'm taking care of me, and I'm actually taking care of me. Um, I've had,
People who think that you are selfish in your self-care are the people who need the boundaries the most, and those are the people who take advantage of you.
and and typically they have a warped sense of entitlement
Yeah.
and how things should be for people. And I realized a while ago that I'm not. That's not how they have to be. And now, if I was only a child, it might be different. I'm not. I am. I'm one of 6 living children. So my parents aren't alone in this any of their journeys. I don't have to be the one that does it all the time. I do keep
Right.
up with everything. I am still the contact most of the time, so I do talk to doctors still. It's for my mother. My father, my sister does, but my sister, for the last 2 months, hasn't. My sister hasn't been here, so I've taken care of my dad the last 2 months, which is just fine. It's my dad too. She just messaged me 2 days ago. She goes, "Oh my god, I hate the end of the season." And I'm sorry I haven't been around. And I'm like, it's my dad too. I'm here. I'm here. It's no big deal. I'm literally in the driveway. But I'm leaving, and I'm not gonna feel bad about
You know,
leaving.
I had the privilege of helping to take care of my mom until she passed, and being her primary caregiver for the most part. My sister and I were a great team. I just did most of it, and I was okay with that. I mean, I wouldn't change any of that. I was young. I mean, I took on responsibility way before I ever should have, or been
Hmm.
expected to, and it wasn't something that we were ever told that we had to do. It really was. There was never like a conversation where we sat down and said, my parents were like, "We need you to do this," or it wasn't like that. Oh, they didn't want me to talk about that, I suppose.
I was getting ready to say, I'm like, wow, it's unusual that you freeze.
I mean, it totally I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to talk about that subject. It was an honor to take it. There was never I wouldn't take any of it back. And my dad actually robbed me of the chance to do that
Hmm.
because of that, because we were so young. At the end, he said, I wish I would have done treatment. And, he said, but I didn't want you to give up any more of your life to take care of me the way that, because you gave up so much of your life when you were younger to help take care of your mom. But my dad
Yeah.
worked all the time. My dad was a 12-hour a day shift worker, so he worked like days one week, nights the next week, and it was crazy. His schedule
Yeah.
was wicked, crazy, and was for years and years and years. And so, my sister and I just did what we needed to do in the moment. Like I said, it was never discussed. There was no conversation about it. We just did it.
Yeah, because you made it work, and I think
Yeah.
that's a big trait of our generation is that we just were expected to make it work,
Yeah.
no matter.
That's why we're all fucking feral now. We're still feral.
Yeah,
I'm feral. I'm still
Uh,
feral.
you're still feral. Yeah, you know.
I'm okay with it. My kids had to make me promise to not try to pet the alligators, by the way. And I saw my first one this week.
Did you really?
Yeah, lives in the pond across the street. It's a little
Oh,
one. He's only like 3 or 4 feet. They told me
no. You probably shouldn't. I mean, if they're used to be around humans, if they're like in a petting zoo,
that.
then
No, I want to feed her.
yeah.
I want to feed her. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we were the kids that like, we're Gen Xers, and we were the kids that our parents literally had a commercial that came on at 10 o'clock at night that says, "Do you know where your kids
Where your kids are.
are?" Because we were out running around, like the streetlights came on, and you knew that it was your time. That you better be walking up the street or in the house when the streetlights came on, and so you would time them. I remember chasing down the street. So they would like start at one end of the street and turn, tick, 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 and you're like running as fast as your little ass could take you to get home
Yeah.
before the streetlights came on.
My house was the party house. So we had this really cool clubhouse. So a lot of times people were, yeah, they were at my house. We would be there. Um, and my friend had a pool 2 doors down. So between the two places, it really was one or the other, and half the neighborhood would be there. Unfortunately, we were playing Truth or Dare at like 7, 8.
Yeah.
Um, doing things that should never have be happening at
Oh
7
yeah,
or 8.
I've had those moments as well growing up.
Yeah.
Our house was not the party house, but my parents were party people. And once we turned 18 and there was no one could take us away, no one could,
Hmm.
because my parents were pot smokers. And in the 90s, that was not cool I mean,
Oh,
my friends
yeah.
thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever, but, it was not quite as open as it is now. And, by far. I mean, and we were told growing up, like, you don't talk about it. And because
Hmm.
if someone finds out, then you will be taken away and we will go to
Yep.
jail. And we will never see you again. That's a lot to put on a kid, by the way.
Mom in the custody battle went in and said, "Yeah, I smoke pot."
Yeah.
And it was a big deal because and she had to go to classes and all kinds of stuff because of it. And but my dad was such an alcoholic, so it was like eeny
Right.
meeny,
The lesser of the two evils. Yeah.
right? Definitely.
My dad was a very heavy drinker. Like, my dad drank every day. And I never really thought of him as an alcoholic because he was not the alcoholic you would see on the
Right.
after school specials. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, my dad was not a violent drunk at all. He was not like he was so chill because he was a stoner too. So he was like, but and my dad was a cool fucking dude. My
Yeah.
dad at the end of the day was a cool fucking dude. He wasn't always the greatest dad when we were growing up, but he told us he loved us every day and he did the best that he could
Hmm.
with
With
what
what?
he was dealt. You
Yeah.
know?
In another whole another generation of like fucked up.
Yes. Yeah. We all carry something. Everyone has a story. So if you're listening to
Mm.
this, know that there is nothing in your past. Like Jeff and I are always safe spaces for people, and I
Yes.
just want to throw that out there. You can find us on all of our social medias. Please, by all means, if you're listening to this, find me on social media. And if you need a safe space to unload some of your stuff, like let's work something out. Because even if you don't think that you can afford to have sessions with me, I'm always willing to work something out with people because everyone needs a safe space that they can unpack some shit that they might not even want to tell their closest friend because they feel that they might be judged. And I can tell
Hmm.
you right now, if it has not personally happened to me, then I know someone it has happened to, and I will always be a safe space for people to
Always.
unpack.
I'm the same
Always.
way. All my programs, as always, like, are always. I'm never turning somebody away because of that. Because I've been offered so many wonderful people have just taken me in. My first conference with the Unleash You people was given to me.
Right.
I would never ever turn somebody away because they couldn't afford it. Like, let's talk and let's go through and let's get you together and get you into a space where you are confident and comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so different when you are. It's.
Yeah.
I was listening to this video the other day on Kundalini, and it gave me something. I realized how much that it was true. When you're comfortable in your skin and you start actually doing the things, like moving and doing all the things to make yourself comfortable and actually perform, right?
Yes.
So I'm doing yoga. I'm not saying that this is what you have to do by any
No.
means, but having some kind of movement, having some kind of meditation practice, having like things purposefully in place on purpose again, right?
Yes.
It's like taking a car out of first gear and realizing that your car moves in so many other gears and you can do all kinds of other things, and it's amazing what happens. And it's so powerful when you accept the dark side, when you accept all the things that you're sitting here trying to hide. No,
Yeah.
fuck you. So
Yeah.
yeah, once in a while I'm a slut. I'll be the first to tell you.
I used
I
to
am.
be.
I am.
And then I
I
went, okay, I want healthy relationships. And for a straight woman, it's different as
Yeah.
well, you know. Um, I mean, and trust me, I was the queen of fucking booty calls. Like,
Hmm.
I was the man most of the time. I was the one that was like, listen, this is what this is. And no, I don't want more. And no, I'm not going to get attached. And no, I'm not, I had this one that I dated him off and on for years. And I shouldn't say that. I didn't date him. I fucked him off and on for years. And at one point I said something about loving him as in an individual. People are so afraid of that word.
Hmm.
People are so afraid of the word love. And I said to him, I said, because he was like, whoa, 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 he gets like all blah, blah, and I was like, stop. Do you think after 7 fucking years that, like, there's not some sort of love there? Come the fuck on, dude, And he's
Right.
like, oh, well, when you put it that way, and I'm like, yeah, like, I'm not saying I'm in love with you and I want to be with, like, no, I don't want to fucking be with you. And, but that does not mean that I don't have some sort of love for you because we've been fucking for 7 years, dude.
I, I tell you about my friend one. I have a friend. I met my right after my ex. I met 3 guys right in a row. Like
Yeah.
my first 3 hookups. Right after that, I'm still friends with all 3 of them.
Yeah,
Um.
so I'm cool with pretty much all of them. The funny thing is the only ones that I don't talk to are my baby daddy for very good reasons that I will not get into on social media because it's not mine to tell.
Hmm.
And um, the creeper,
Hmm.
and we'll just leave it at that. And my ex-husband, oddly
Yeah.
enough, though my though we didn't really like it wasn't super harsh when we split. I mean, he was he was hurt because I was the one that wanted to end
Hmm.
it, um but it's okay because I got the kids.
Yeah. You got custody.
I got custody of the kids, yeah.
You got custody
Which
of
we
the
laugh
kids.
about that. That's why my stepson says it. He says, well, so Heather's my stepmom. She was married to my sperm donor for a while, and she got custody of us in the divorce. And they're like, what? And they're like, he's like, we don't talk to him, but we love her. Like,
Right.
so my baby turned 21.
Aww.
My baby turned 21 yesterday. The youngest of all my bonus children. My stepdaughter turned 21.
You're old.
No, I'm not
I'm kidding.
saying that. This man
I'm
keeps telling me I'm old. Look, I do not look 48. In no
no.
way, shape, or form do I look 48. And I
See,
am not fucking old. I got lots of life to live. My
see,
grandpa lived to 50, like to 95. So
right.
I have some good genes in me.
I joke all the time that gay boys, because they don't have kids to tell them how old they are. Um, so at 40, that starts going backwards. So
Oh, is that what
I,
it is?
yeah, I'm 33 now. It's okay,
Well,
you know.
I,
And
as
look,
part of the life
and
that
next
I've
to look.
lived, as part of the life that I've lived, I have aged really well, except that if I let my hair grow, I would be completely, probably. Damn
I
near completely gray. People are like, you don't have that much gray, and I was like, I have way more gray than you think. I've
you
actually
just have a
thought
lot of
about
hair.
stripping it out
Hmm.
and like coloring it gray so that it just all kind of blends in as it grows out.
You could,
And I'd be this really crazy chrome bitch lady.
you know. Hey, are you? So, what are you going to be for Halloween? Are you going to dress up? Are you going to do anything? Are you going to give out candy?
We're gonna hand out candy. I guess we get a shit ton of trick or treaters here, which I'm so excited for because the last couple of years. So when I lived in Nevada and I lived outside of Vegas, we lived on like there was like 5 houses on our whole block. Like no one came to our block to trick or treat.
Yeah.
And then in Vegas, my roommates always, like I'm not huddling by the front door to try to see the, you know, here we're gonna open up the garage, sit outside. It's beautiful here because Florida's fucking beautiful all the time. So we're gonna like sit outside and have the garage door open and hand out candy to the kids. I guess we get a lot. I have a orange shirt that has a jack-o'-lantern on the front of it, and I have a jack-o'-lantern leggings, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, put some makeup on and do something fun like that.
I think I'm gonna go to karaoke. Actually, I'm gonna be a fallen angel. I have these black angel wings. These, and I think I'm gonna.
Pink
No, I'm gonna wear the little silver ones
Oh, even
instead.
better. Even
Right,
better.
right. I'm going one step further than the piggies.
The piggies. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up early tonight, you guys, because Jeff has a class that he's going to this evening.
Yep.
So thank you all for joining us. Of course, if you want to find us, go to spiritualsexandcandy.com. Don't forget to go buy a shirt.
Hey, I got
And
shit out
this card
today.
is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It is happily ever after.
Oh my god! Wait till you see mine. That's so funny.
So know that even in the darkness, that there is light out there. And when you do the work and you keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, because it's all going to get brighter for you.
It's
Pentacles,
the
baby.
Ten of Pentacles. It's the same freaking card.
I love
Literally,
it.
it's what are you? Look at everything that you built.
Yeah.
Built for generations. It's about family. It's about love. It's about what goes on. That is the happily ever after card. It's not the marriage card. It's the card that's after that. It's in the happiness of all that you've done and all that you are.
I really love
You
it.
know, it's just beautiful.
Love, love, love. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have it all.
You can.
You can have it all. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. And those work fucking suck. It's not an easy road, you guys. It's not. It's not easy. Anyone who says, I have this big, huge spiritual awakening and, oh, and then you get the dark night of the soul, as they call it, right?
Yeah.
That is the trick. That is tricking you into getting the ball rolling, and then all the shit comes.
Then all the
You
shit
know
comes.
that it gets better. And just to keep going. And that there are safe spaces.
Yeah, and we, as Heather said, we're both safe spaces. Come see us.
Yeah.
The Know Your Nuts November challenge starts in 3 days. So you want to be there?
Something
The Odyssey?
exciting happening, but I don't want to say it until it happens. So just within the next couple of weeks.
I'm excited.
Jeff doesn't even know. I'm not telling
I don't
him.
even know. No.
Just doing it.
She's a brat. She keeps,
I'm making some major moves in silence.
Uh-huh.
It's just what I need to do at this moment in my life.
She knows I'm here. That's all that matters. So, all right, guys.
Everyone have a good night. We love you.
I love you. See you guys soon.
Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread awesome.